Hello guys, Greg back with another video on the channel. It's all killer, no filler. Apologies again for the poor sound and the poor production here. I'm down in my office again. I'm just doing videos when I can, when I get the chance. So this is all a little bit makeshift, so I do apologise. But this is going to be episode 3 of my new brand featured series. Now, the first video I did a few weeks ago was on the House of Diptyque. And then I did a video on the House of Gucci. I'll leave a link in the video description below for both of those. And there's also a playlist on the channel where all these videos will sit. So today's video is based on a house that I discovered back in 2019. And it's owned by an amazing perfumer, in my opinion, called Russian Adam. And Russian Adam originally owned the brand Feel Oud along with his friend Dmitry Bortnikov. And Dmitry's also got his own range of perfumes now, which I'm going to feature soon. But they started out working together as oud distillers, and they've since gone on, as I said, to start their own projects. And basically they create their own tinctures, they distill their own ingredients, and it's a real high level of artisanal perfumery. Now, I'm by no means an expert in oud distillation or any of the techniques that these guys use. I'm just a fan, of perfume, and a fan that appreciates amazing, unique creations like these. Now, the brand that we're talking about that's owned by Russian Adam is called Areej Le Dore. Now, he's released 6 collections so far. He's recently just released a standalone fragrance about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, called Chinese Oud, which I'm waiting to get. But most of his creations are like a one-time deal in terms of being able to get hold of them, pretty much due to the rarity of the ingredients. So, he only makes one production run of them. If you don't get your hands on the bottle in the first couple of days, or sometimes even within a couple of hours, the chance is usually gone, unless you're willing to pay fortunes on eBay to get one. So these are all going to be hard to find perfumes, but I didn't want that to stop me talking about them and doing the video, because I really did want to discuss this house. So I'll just quickly preface this video by saying these perfumes are extremely complex. Now, trying to break these down into individual notes is really, really hard. I started to play with oils and bought lots of different materials about 10 years ago, before I even started doing reviews, and I used them to learn how to detect notes and how to break fragrances down. And I think I'm okay at doing that. I think I'm pretty good on the majority of fragrances, but these are different level, and these use ingredients that I've never come across before. So what I'm going to tell you is what I get from the perfume rather than what it necessarily is definitely supposed to be in there. And that is how I generally tend to do my videos anyway. So I'm going to do my best, but I don't think I'm going to do these justice, and I'm just being honest, because these are next level. So number 5, this one is from the 5th collection. This is my 5th favourite. This one is called Wart Piece. And as you can see, I have literally one spray left in this bottle, which I'm savouring. Now this fragrance, this has got the best named note ever in a fragrance. 35 million year old amber resin. I think that's just brilliant. But this perfume is a very deep, dark, animalic leather and musk fragrance. And when I say musk, I mean real animalic deer musk. It's got castoreum, it's got ambergris, so it really is animalic in the true sense of the word. The amber resin in here that I mentioned is very incensey, smoky and resinous. There's a big floral component in the perfume, there's lots of rose, and it definitely smells dirty, almost like musty or stale, but if it's even possible, stale in a good way. Like the majority of fragrances from this brand, this is not for the faint-hearted. It's definitely not something for someone looking for, to grab compliments in a club or something or anything like that. It's a perfume lovers type of perfume. So the next one, unfortunately, I've had to decant this because my one criticism of this house is the sprayers. They're awful. They break all the time. And on this bottle, it just completely stopped working, so I had to decant it into another bottle. But that's a small criticism. The perfume is more to make up for it. It's a shame on this one as well, because this has amazing presentation. But this one is, in my very shoddy presentation, Santal Galore. And again, as with all of these creations, this is very hard to describe in words. These perfumes are all about the feeling they create when you actually smell them. But this one is a beautiful sandalwood. It's got lots of florals and musks. It's one of the more wearable Areej fragrances. It isn't over skanky. The sandalwood in here has got a bit of creaminess in it, which kind of tempers the dirty musk notes. And I get a dusty bookcase type of smell, and there's some mossiness in it. I also get quite a bit of clove, and it's got a really beautiful rose note. a brilliantly crafted perfume. Sits quite close to the skin, actually. It does last for a long time, but it's not one that projects particularly well, but I've got no problem with that. So my third favourite fragrance from the house. Now, this is one that was actually re-released. It was from the first collection that Russian Adam did, and it was so well received, and it was just so good that he recreated it. And this one, make sure I've got the right bottle. Beautiful bottle as well. This is Ottoman Empire Part 2. I wasn't lucky enough to smell the first version of this, but this one is amazing. In fact, the top 3 fragrances that I've chosen here are probably 3 of the most wearable fragrances out of all of the ones from this house. I mean, they're very far from being mainstream, and they do challenge your nose, but they're not going to, not going to offend anyone like some of these fragrances might. Just try and focus on that. Really, really classy looking bottle. Beautiful juice. But as I keep saying, these perfumes are hard to describe, and I find this one probably hardest of all. Not being a big fan of rose and loving this don't really go together, but I do really love this. There's so many different rose elements in this fragrance. I describe it as a spicy floral oud masterpiece. There's elements of very animalic civet in here. It gets a little bit urinal, but not in too much of an offensive way. It's got a resinous amber in here, and very deep myrrh note in here as well. It's not the sort of individual notes that make this great. It's kind of a sum of all its parts, but it's a brilliant blend, a superb creation. That is Ottoman Empire Part 2. My second favourite fragrance, this is another re-release. It came out at the same time as Ottoman Empire Part 2. This, again, is phenomenal, and this is Siberian Musk Part 2. As you can see, it's in the same really classy bottle as Ottoman Empire. This is a beautiful, elegant, green, coniferous fragrance. I actually detect a lot of top notes in here, which, with most of these Areej perfumes, they dive straight into the heart notes, or even sometimes base notes. But I get a really big blast of citrus at the top of this, and some spice as well. So there's this, there is a distinguishable top notes in development. When it goes into the heart, you get kind of like there's a greenness in here that almost overwhelms your senses, and that greenness, continues throughout and never goes away. But the fragrance develops, you get a whole burst of different musks and different ouds that all combine. There's type of a DNA in the base of a lot of these perfumes. They don't smell the same, but they've got that kind of Russian Adam trademark to them. But this one is so good. If you do, get a chance to try it, if you haven't, I really hope you do, because it's such a great fragrance. And my favourite fragrance in the house of Areej Le Dore, this is from the 4th collection, and this was made by Russian Adam in collaboration with the really brilliant YouTuber Nikhil from the channel Exotic Scents. You have to check Nikhil out if you haven't already. He's one of the very best, most authentic perfume reviewers on YouTube. And this one, forgive the pronunciation, is called Koh-i-Noor, or Koh-i-Noor. And apparently Koh-i-Noor is a legendary diamond from India, and it was supposed to be the most magnificent diamond ever. It was 186 carats, I think, is what the diamond was supposed to be. And apparently it's now sitting in the British Crown Jewels. But if the diamond was magnificent, this fragrance definitely is too. This is a big floral chypre. You get hit with quite a lot at once with this perfume. From the very first spray, you get a beautiful lemon note. And apparently it's Indonesian lemon oil that was distilled by Russian Adam himself. And you get an amazing gardenia note that hits you right from the top. And there's musk right at the very top of this. But florals and musks, there's many more that come in, through the journey that this fragrance takes you on. The heart of the fragrance is all about sandalwood. It's really the best authentic Mysore sandalwood that you could ever wish to smell. It's fantastic. When the fragrance has been on your skin for about 20 minutes, it develops, it's a perfect blend of all those top notes and heart notes, and they've all seemed to just kind of become one. When it dries down, you get a very detectable jasmine and tuberose combination. And it's kind of interesting because the gardenia note, although there's sort of similar white floral notes, the gardenia is a top note and comes in straight away. Whereas that jasmine and tuberose, you don't get until quite a long time into the fragrance. But the jasmine and the tuberose in the base, they're combined with lots of different ouds and different types of musks. This really is a superb collaboration between a great perfumer and one of us really, a fragrance fanatic, a YouTuber, someone that just appreciates perfume and got the chance to participate in creating something great. So congratulations to him. So there you go, guys. That is my favourite 5 fragrances from the house of Areej Le Dore. Hope you enjoyed it. Love to hear if any of you have tried these or which ones you like from the house. And I'll be back soon with another video. Cheers, guys.